almost live. Excuse me, got to get Facebook into the mix here. My computer would hang on for a second without overdoing it. Then I think we might not have too much of a problem. All right, Twitch, YouTube, welcome to the show. We'll have more coming up here in just a second, but let's get Facebook viewers into the mix and stay tuned for that because here we go. All right, just a few minutes past our usual target zone of 9:45, give or take somewhere in there for tonight, but otherwise not seeing any major problems. We had some thunderstorms out there, still a few leftover showers here and there across portions of the area, but for right now things are, again, decently on the quiet side. Will it stay that way into the weekend? That is a very good question, as well as the potential for maybe some flash flooding sticking around. Next week, we start making our way toward the middle of the Perseid meteor shower. Hopefully the weather continues to cooperate on that. Hopefully you had a chance without too much interference from the weather to get out and get your vote taken care of for today. Again, please don't let the weather be an excuse for not casting your ballot. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek from the News 12 studios in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, keeping you updated with what's going on with the forecast. If you're around Chattanooga or the News 12 viewing area, southeast Tennessee, North Georgia, northeast Alabama, or back into western North Carolina, welcome to the show. If you have questions about things, please drop them into the comments section. We're on live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Nice to have you along. And again, thanks to our sponsor, Epicos Comics, Cards, and Games, for being our sponsor here for Weather Overtime on News 12. Let's go ahead and get going for this evening and talk about where we were today on the temperatures. Little less hot than yesterday, but very close to where we should be overall. This is about as decently typical as you could get for this time of the year, and well below our record high, which hasn't been broken since 1935. No rainfall today, still a deficit for the month and now for the year, closing in on 7 inches behind normal, which means that basically we need at least 1.5 inches of rain every single month as we go into the last few months of the year. We're in August, we still have the last quarter of the year to go, so we hopefully can make this up, but as of right now, 2026 looks like it's going to be going down as a fairly dry year overall. Off to the schoolroom in the morning. Temperatures will be back in the lower 70s, muggy, partly cloudy. Doesn't look like too much of any rainfall, but the closer you go toward afternoon, that is where we're going to see the better potential of showers and thunderstorms coming back our direction. So that mad dash from the school to the car rider line onto the bus, from the bus to home, walking or bike riding home from school, some rain protection would not be such a bad idea. So please keep that in mind. Again, for outdoor activities, we want to pay very close attention to what is going to be coming your direction, especially with school groups going on. Really have to pay attention at this time of the year, especially with athletic events getting going. Nice view of storm clouds on approach from Flintstone. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Terry B. Nelson, for some beautiful gray colors behind the tree line and the flagpole around Flintstone. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see what you're taking a look at, so please send those in to us. Island Cove, plenty of clouds around Lake Chickamauga, and temperatures about 2 degrees less than what they were a couple of hours ago, so not seeing that much in the way of very cool weather out there. The red dots that you see on screen, those are fires detected by the VEERS satellite system. Dozens of new spot fires out there. The gray color that you see on screen is light amounts of wildfire smoke across portions of the southeastern United States. Not enough to be interfering with air quality, but it is enough to be detected by satellite. So this is going to be, again, a bit of a concern for anybody with lung ailments out there. Now, we're also not seeing, again, anything in the way of the Canadian wildfire smoke plumes coming down this way, but it is possible that we could see that again during the rest of the summer. possibly even into early autumn, depending on what goes on with rainfall well up to our north and east. Air quality was pretty good for the entire day today. Carbon monoxide down a little bit, but still in the green category. This looks very high, but when you remember that this is measured in parts per billion, this is actually very much on the lower side. Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide remain unchanged. Ozone gas just a little bit lower. Particle pollution, not bad in the green or good category. So overall, we've had a pretty good day of air quality across much of the region, so not getting a huge problem there. Scattered showers and thunderstorms from New England all the way down to Florida, back across the Ozarks and into the Ohio River Valley. That's the worst of the worst for right now, including some severe thunderstorm warnings down around Macon, Georgia, and some more thunderstorms up around portions of the Appalachians. We have what's left over of those thunderstorms now dwindling across the Tennessee, North Carolina line, and more prevalent areas of thunderstorms down around Atlanta. These are drifting. There's no storm system coming in to push these things any one direction or to give these things a really good burst of energy, which means that they're just popping up and they're wandering around the area, drifting one direction or another by maybe say 10 to 15 miles per hour. We could still see again some lightning taking place into the early evening hours, maybe even close to midnight with some of these stronger storms over Georgia and western North Carolina. Notice again right outside of Fannin County that one cell is regenerating. Not exactly huge, but over toward the area of eastern Fannin County may see some more problems with rain, and could be some rain on the windshield anywhere across the area for the next few hours, so please keep that in mind if you are traveling. We've got tons of moisture-rich air across the area. This very strong dome of high pressure is not only pushing these storm systems back across much of the Great Lakes, the Ohio River Valley, and the upper Midwest, it's also doing a good job of moving moisture-rich air from the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Atlantic onshore up to where we are. And we see again this moisture-rich, very uncomfortably sultry mass of air sticking around for the next several days. Not much is going to be changing as we see very warm temperatures in the morning. Now the good news on the temperatures is, notice again that we have the 80s and lower 90s here, triple digits to high 90s back into the mid-south and down toward the delta. So the more sunshine you get, the hotter it's going to be. We're going to stair-step those temperatures upwards in the next several days, but the really hot air will be on the south side of this northbound warm front, and those triple digits again will be sticking around for the course of the next few days, especially back to our west. So we don't get a huge amount of break from the heat entirely, but at least we're not roasting like we're seeing in the Mississippi Delta anytime soon. Lows tonight in the mid to upper 60s to low 70s. These are the air temperatures tomorrow, just the air temperatures. Combine the air temperatures with the amount of moisture in the air, the dew point temperature, to get that feels like index, and we will see some triple digit temperatures tomorrow. It's going to be quite uncomfortable out there. Maybe not hot enough for a heat advisory, but if you work or exercise for too long, it is going to be very noticeable, so please keep that in mind. Drought situation continues to improve, but we still have a good portion of the News 12 viewing area counties under a drought situation at this time. It's less than what it was, dry to moderate, a 1 to 2 on that scale of 5, but that's about as good as it gets for right now. Improving slowly. Whether or not we get out of this drought depends on how much rainfall we get, and for right now, that's again about as good as it gets. The chances of rain remain pretty good, elevated at least as we go into the mid part of August, and then from August into September, more dry air taking place, and that's not exactly good news when it comes to wildfires or for agriculture. That could mean a lot of problems, especially if we start dipping down to about 8, 9, or 10 inches below normal for this time of the year. So definitely want to keep that in mind, as little, if anything, really does improve in the near future. Now, off to the tropics, into the Atlantic. Again, quiet for right now. We'll talk more about the expected forecast here, but with El Nino in the Pacific and dry, dusty air off of the Sahara, there's really just not that much going on. And this is the way it's been for the last, give or take, 3 to 4 weeks or so. So as of right now, no busy hurricane season. This is definitely not looking like 2005 all over again. But just remember, it just takes one to brew up very quickly and in the right conditions. When those tumblers line up in the locks, you can have a nasty surprise waiting for you. Into the Pacific, from the central Pacific out to southeast of Hawaii, 2 storm systems trying to get going, not seeing a great chance for either one of them. 30% chance of development on both of these. There were 3 yesterday, now we're down to 2, and that is where we see the worst conditions again for right now. This could change into the next few days. Now, as per usual, at this time of the year, NOAA issues an update to its hurricane forecast that it set before the public a few weeks ago, right before the start of hurricane season, back in about mid-May. This is nearly unprecedented to have this much dusty air from the Sahara and El Nino being a supercharged El Nino. The rising air off of El Nino, that warm air rising, has got to come down someplace. And that falling air or subsiding air is coming down right over the waters of the Gulf, the Caribbean, and the Atlantic. And that falling air is helping to squash any thunderstorm developments and not giving us good conditions for anything involving hurricanes. At least that's the way it's looking for right now, which is why this is so unprecedented, because taking a look at the green part of the pie chart, 75% probability, that is again a major shift downwards in the last several forecasts that shows we're going to have a below normal potential for storms in and around any portion of the Atlantic basin. Now, there still is the potential of 7 to 13 named storms if conditions are right. And remember, we haven't even hit the peak of hurricane season. That is about a week and a month away. So out of those named storms, 2 out of 6 could become hurricanes, and a maximum estimation of 2 could become major hurricanes. That's category 3 and above. Major hurricanes that can cause a lot of damage and ones that really need to be avoided at all costs. Now, there will be other updates coming up here as we approach the latter third of the season. We'll bring those to you when we get them. Also, Colorado State should be updating their forecast coming up on the 8th of August. That'll be this Saturday. And when that happens, we'll bring that to you as well. Does this mean that it's going to be completely flat and we're not going to see any storms whatsoever? That's not what this forecast is saying. It's just talking about the possibility, the threat of anything that is going to be much lesser than what a typical season could be, and only a 1 out of 5 possibility for that at this point. So this is really rare and unique to see something this low of a forecast because of El Nino, because of the dry, dusty air of Africa. This is really going to be, it looks like, unless things really take an uptick in the next several weeks, this could be a very quiet season. Now, this could all just absolutely turn around into the next few weeks. And please, if you're heading to the coastline, remember that it only takes one storm to cause major problems and to really ruin somebody's day, week, lifetime. Please be weather aware if you're doing anything outdoors around the coastal areas of the United States, because this is less likely, but it is still possible that we could get some nasty storms forming out there. So definitely want to stay tuned and keep up to date with what's happening. Don't forget, you can enter your picture for weather. The theme this year is Your Weather, Your World, courtesy of the World Meteorological Organization. The deadline for entries of your picture for their weather calendar for 2027 is coming up again 10 days away. If you'd like to enter your picture, there's no cash prize, but to get your picture featured in a worldwide distribution calendar, got to admit that's pretty doggone cool. So need to be able to see that WMO.int/calendar 2027 if you'd like to enter your pictures in the mixture for that. Rest of the forecast, and again, going back to Island Cove on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network page, not seeing a lot of change anytime soon. And again, the possibility of rain will dip into the weekend and early next week, and then pick back up again next week. World Lion Day coming up next Monday, and next Wednesday and Thursday, the Perseid meteor shower is one of the biggest meteor showers of the year. It'll be peaking Wednesday night into Thursday morning. The big question is how much moisture are we going to have around for that, and how much of the humidity, and again, these clouds that we see at nighttime sticking around, how much of that is going to interfere with seeing those meteors. And in the next several nights, as we run up to that, it's a good possibility that if you look upwards, especially overnight about midnight and afterwards, in the darkness of the overnight hours, you may see a lot more meteors coming into view. So best to keep your eyes open, especially if you're up and about after midnight. Otherwise, temperatures again back into the 90s, lower 90s all the way through, and then the lower to mid 70s for low temperatures. So not really getting too much out there in the way of help where it comes to anything involving cooler weather. It's times like this that October really seems very far away, so not getting too much of any help there. Our weather poll question of the day, the length of a lightning bolt, and they can be very on the long side, but how long has the longest one happened, at least over the continental United States? Lightning trackers on the satellites can now look at these things and measure just how large a area they can cover. In 2020, the longest horizontal distance spanned by a known lightning bolt, 120, 330, or 515 miles. Half of you chose 330 miles. The correct answer, it was over Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. It actually spawned over a distance of over 500 miles. So fairly long charge right there. Thanks to Williams Plumbing for being our sponsor on that. If you'd like to vote in our polls, news, weather, sports, all you have to do is use the QR code to get there, or again, go to wdef.com/vote now if you'd like to take a look and see more about what we have on the questions that you can participate in if you'd like to do so. Overnight, temperatures will be back in the lower 70s at best, but just not getting too much to worry about in the way of very cool air anytime soon. Chip's got your forecast coming up bright and early in the morning. It's Friday, so good start to the weekend. Checking out your forecast there to get you updated as to what's going on. That should do it for tonight. We've been on for about just shy of 20 minutes, so that's not too totally terrible for anything going on there. No comments on Twitch, no comments on YouTube, and a couple of thumbs up for Facebook. Thanks to everybody for checking in. Always great to have everybody stopping by for a little bit of weather overtime for Thursday night. I'll have more coming up on News 12 at 11. Don't forget, we've got complete Election Day coverage results coming up this evening at 11 o'clock and at the ticker on the bottom of your screen. Got questions about the forecast that you weren't able to drop into the comments section? Blue bar down beneath, aonic@wdef.com. That is my email address if you'd like to get in contact with me there. We'll have more tonight at 11. Chip's got more in the morning, and stay tuned for more throughout the rest of Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Oenick. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime for Thursday. Stick around for more with News 12 on air and online on Friday and through